Hey everybody! Welcome back to Northernlion Plays Planet Coaster. Everything's going pretty well so far. We were back at 98% happiness, which, while not 100, the last time I checked, is still pretty good. We just put down a Ferris wheel. The Ferris wheel is running. It seems like this is an inefficient way to run it. Like, yeah, this family should get on, and then it should rotate, like, you know, 8 degrees or something. Maybe I'm missing out. Like, it seems like the kind of ride that runs non-consecutively. Or wait, completely consecutively. But, you know, it doesn't matter in the end. However the game chooses to model it is fine by me. And there's people on it right now, so I guess that's cool. Alright, well, we are going to work on expanding the section of the park that we just built. This is probably going to have to be space for facilities, stuff like that. We may be able to fit a ride there, but to be honest with you, it's gonna have to be like the Collider is just about as small as it gets, I think, here, unless maybe Looper is slightly smaller. It is, but we can't fit it. It's a little too high, basically. We could fit Psychola, but we already have Psychola. Don't even get me started on a dang old whirly rig, man. Don't even get me started on that whirly rig. Aeronauts will not fit, because I think it needs vertical space above it, and obviously we have the corkscrew there getting in its way. We already have a kickflip. Did I already try Looper here? I can't recall. I don't know. Again, I'm not even sure I want to build this ride because of the fact that it's just going to lead to, like, endless chains of vomit, probably. Which, all things considered, I think is relatively bad. On the scale of things that are good, I don't think this factors in. We may be able to fit... Yeah, you know what? Let's try to throw another ride right here. And it's, again, going to have a bit of a stunted queue because of the way we're going to have to organize this. But we have to make better use of the space that's available to us because of the fact that, you know, quite honestly, we're starting to run out of space. And roller coasters cannibalize a ton of space. And they cannibalize it in all dimensions. Or all directions, I should say. Hello, Ruka. Yes, I know. Dinner time is in a half hour. Coincidentally, how long is the average Planet Coaster episode? You got an answer for that one? That's right. Your owner is a genius. Either way, we're going to try to make this quite dense, to be honest with you, without compromising the fact that, you know, scenery is a thing that exists and etc., etc. Now, this sucks because, again, this ride, I'm pretty sure, is going to lead to nausea. It has a nausea level of 4, which probably means that there will be people who throw up after they ride it. That's a bummer. I still think, like, there's a problem I have design-wise with Planet Coaster, which is that there's a really easy shortcut to making your life very easy. Just build awesome roller coasters and never build rides that make people throw up, and then that nukes, like, a lot of potential unhappiness very, very quickly. It's the same thing, like, why would I build gift shops? At least, like, right now they're bugged. And I'm not trying to, like, throw this on the game developers. I'm just saying, like, you know, sure, there is a trade-off. You can get this pre-made ride that has relatively high nausea, or you can make your own roller coasters, but, you know, what if we just didn't build this and instead just left this space as, like, trees or something like that? Sure, it wouldn't be making us any money, but who cares? You know, at this point, money is completely meaningless, but what is meaningful is the fact that, you know, people might start to get disappointed with our park because of the fact that there's vomit outside of this ride and etc., etc., but, you know, keep in mind that after all this is said and done, I still went through with it and built it, so, you know, who's the idiot here? Probably me. Anyway, this ride is, you know, theoretically in, like, the western section of the park. In the end, though, is that super relevant? I would say no. Maybe I'll just surround this with, like, some cool looking, you know, trees and whatnot here. Because there's really just, like, not a ton of Western stuff that you can fit that's pre-made. Unfortunately. We can kind of put, you know, like, cactuses or other various trees around there. We have a Q rating of 100 already. Overpower 1. I'm just going to call this Please Don't Vom. It doesn't have anybody going to it yet, but this may well change in time. I think that, you know, historically what's worked really well for us is if we want to drive demand to a new section of the park, you build a roller coaster. And you build it in a place that's relatively accessible, so that people decide that they would like to, you know, ride on that roller coaster. So we could maybe put a platform like here, and then have our coaster come out and then loop back. It's kind of an annoying place for it, though. We could, like, very few people are making the plunge here, but not none. Oh, is this one of those rides that has, like, water at the bottom, so it makes, you know, this looks exactly like a ride at Canada's Wonderland. One of, like, 4 amusement parks I've ever been to in my life. We could also, actually, this is, I think, more sensible, is to build the platform here and then have it go, like, around and then come back. And what kind of roller coaster should we build? Let's see. Whoa, 100% happiness. That's a surprise to me. Not because I thought we were doing badly, but because, you know, we were at 98, or, you know, 96 for a while as well. So I think that it might be something that we expect to come down a little bit in the future. I'm just going to wait for that research to be done, because I think it's going to be a standing coaster, and I have never built a standing coaster in the game. I would like to see what that entails, but for now, I'm just going to throw down some benches. Again, I don't really know if benches, oh, that's a bad bench. I don't really know if benches, lower nausea, but people told me not to ever make first aid. Like, perhaps first aid just encourages people to throw up or loses you a bunch of money in the process or something. I don't know. The Enigma. It is a stand-up coaster. And then unlimited power. Q, you can't handle my strongest power. Well, they seem to be liking it. You know, you got a bunch of benches there. Not everybody needs to sit on exactly the same one, but that's okay. All right, so let's engage dangerous Northernlion design factor here. Hello, my feline friend. You may exit. So keep in mind, you know, if you're not one of those people who likes watching me build coasters, you're probably not going to enjoy this one too much, because that's what we're going to do for conceivably like the next several minutes. So we're going to build the Enigma. Chain lift can invert for adults and teens only. That's okay. You know, it's in Roller Coaster Alley, so I think that that's sensible. And we could have it like, I want to have the station in a place where we can easily get the track to loop back around. So I think this is about as good as it's going to get. And how far out can we build here? Like, where's the line? Right here. We have basically unlimited money as far as terraforming goes, so that actually gives us more space than it might originally look like. I at least would like to accomplish one goal here, and the goal is 90 miles an hour, because I don't think it's realistic to get over 50 miles an hour for an average speed. So we'll start with 90 miles an hour. And I don't really care that research is ready to be revealed either. It's enough space for a queue. And we want to exit on the right for sure. Turn off auto tunneling for now, because to be honest with you, we don't need it. So we have enter left, exit left. It should be enter right, exit right for now. And we're just going to keep building the station out a little larger. It's not really extending the size of the car, I think. Well, let's Control-Z it and see. I think that's default size. Okay. So how many does that seat? Looks like 4 times 6, so 24. Let's extend that out here and see if we can make that a little larger. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10's as good as it gets. So I think that's where we want to be. All right. So we have at least, basically, there's 2 different ways we could think of this. One is we want it to be, we want each car to make as much money as possible, and we want to run as many cars as possible. So we're going to make sure that we have chain speed up really high here, because that's going to keep this ride running very quickly. And I'm gonna raise you pretty quick. And I think I'm going to drop you pretty quick. It needs to be taller than, my physics lesson in the last episode was completely wrong. I'm just now remembering. It needs to be taller than Yankee Doodle and drop you a little faster than Yankee Doodle. And then we're going to use, like, that speed for the rest of the ride. So, I imagine this is going to be fairly scary. Let's get the test going here. For all the naysaying, we've actually done a pretty damn good job with our last few roller coasters, I think. And I am indeed modeling this one very similarly to the way that Fox did his. Just because I know, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So we're going to drop their asses at like 90 degrees straight down. And maybe before the bottom, start to throw in like a little bit of a dip. Look at that excitement. Admittedly, fear's getting a little high in there too, but the excitement there was ridiculous. Now, I think that people are going to be vomiting their brains out once they get to the bottom here. Like, the nausea, depending on what their speed is, going like, whoop, is going to be ridiculous. But let's at least give them a chance to be pissed first. Let's see how they like it. There are roller coasters in real life that drop you at steeper than 90-degree angles, so... It's bad, but if we roll with it, I don't think it's necessarily that bad. You can't get steeper than a 90-degree angle in a meaningful way, right? Like... Or am I just an idiot? Because what I'm thinking is, like, how could you possibly get steeper than 90 degrees? Like, you can't drop someone straight down, or you can't drop someone better than straight down. Like, they're only gonna fall at maximum the speed of falling straight down to begin with. So, you know, maybe I'm ignorant there. I don't know. It wouldn't be the first time. Well, these people obviously are gonna die. That's okay. So the nausea is bad, but I'm assuming the speed gets over 90 degrees, or 90 miles per hour there. Otherwise, you know, this was all for naught. And then we just have it immediately come back to base. No, that would be silly, but I think an inverted loop, we've proven that people really like inverted loops. And basically, the bigger the better. So we'll see if this, like, it does throw a pretty nasty hairpin in there, but if they survive and enjoy the Sidewinder, it might cancel it out. No, people will die on this ride. Okay, let's rethink our design process here, because the 90-degree drop straight down, you know, is cute and all, but I don't think it's necessarily the right idea here. What we could do is drop them at 90 degrees for, like, a couple ticks there, and then start to level the drop out at 67 or, you know, even 45 or something like that. And then see how people feel when they get to the bottom. I mean, excitement of 12 is awesome, but as long as excitement's in the green, that's all I care about. And the excitement was still at 12 there. They are still getting, slightly nervous as they drop here, but it's not nearly as bad as a 90-degree dip straight down. So let's just see. A spike of nausea is not the end of the world. Honestly, I think that's relatively good. And then what if we just throw them into a vertical loop? Which has been, the vertical loop is like my bread and butter right now, because it's a pre-made element that they love. So just throw a vertical loop in there. And that might, as ridiculous as it sounds, the vertical loop might actually bleed nausea. And we just want it to be like as wide as possible. We could probably custom make one, but that won't be necessary. Please let me, there we go. Okay, so let's just see how they like this. Again, some of the stats are gonna red out here for a minute. Yeah, a vertical loop there allowed us to bleed nausea without actually bleeding excitement, which is awesome. Does this coaster hit 90 miles an hour? Is that why it said challenge completed? We'll just have them, you know, they can continue to come down here because of the way that the level is sort of terraformed. And we could auto tunnel, I mean, why not, right? Just have them continually get dropped down here. This might help us maintain a speed of over 50 miles an hour as well. And they're not really getting under the ground. They're just getting, they're kind of like inside of the ground. So I'm noticing, you're right, it's bleeding off a lot of excitement, but That's okay. What I want to do is maybe throw them for like one more vertical loop and then a huge overbank turn. Like one more large as can get, vertical loop, followed by like being above ground would be nice, which is what's going on here. But you're still like constantly descending, which is cool. And then throw them on an overbank turn, which I think is a non-inverted roll. Yeah, an overbank turn that takes them back to the start here. Although, do we want them to come back that way? We might rather they come back this way. As ridiculous as that might seem at the present moment. You know, I think we can find a way to make this work. So let's see, how do they feel about this? The nausea gets a lot worse through that second vertical loop. Yeah, they're gonna be in the red forever there. So let's slow their roll. That's too much. That's too much. That vertical loop is good though. Then, if we throw in like a non-inverted overbank turn to the left, and just see how they feel during this process. We could have them come back around like even under this other roller coaster. Maybe do one last climb, stop at the top of the climb, and then use that as a block section so gravity can just take them in for the finish here. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's very similar to Northernlion Incorporated's other roller coasters. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're making mad money doing mega construction projects here. People are very afraid. Okay, you know, I think our heart's in the right place, but once they come out of this overbanked turn, or sorry, this vertical loop, I think we have to like, maybe throw like a corkscrew or something at him. I don't know if we want to do an underground corkscrew, as cool as that might look. See how they feel about this. Just because, like, the fear is not going down. But I don't want to just put a straightaway, because that's going to nuke our excitement. So instead, if we could just do a corkscrew, which people tend to enjoy, and then loop them back around to the left, maybe over top of stealth, that makes use of a lot of dead space in our park as well. Nah, the fear's still getting ridiculous. So why are they so afraid of a little fun, you know? That's what I want to know. So a big vertical loop there gets the job done, no doubt. Level them out. Let them ride for a minute here. Throw them on maybe a dive loop, but to the right. So we want them to come out in this direction here. See how they feel about that. We'll crank it up to speed 3. Again, it's part of the roller coaster debugging process. My goal for all these roller coasters is not to design them in a specific way, it's to get them to specific stats. So I'm not heartbroken that, you know, on some of these they just say no to me. They say, Northernlion, we're too afraid to ride your roller coasters. And I say, you can't handle my strongest roller coasters. And they say, we know. And I say, well, that's a shame. Because, you know, they could handle you. Now, is this going to make people throw up with their brains and everything? That's a sentence that was pretty much nonsensical. So they come through that overbank turn. They love it. They love the overbank turns. Look at that. They do get a little afraid as they come to the bottom here. I was actually hoping to like... Oh, not that piece. I was hoping to like pivot the overbank turn to the left so that I can drive the remaining roller coaster, what's left of it at least, over this part of stealth here. Like no, I don't want you to go beneath the surface of the earth, though. Oh, you're not going beneath the surface of the earth, so it's okay. You can't really go that way, though. Like, this is fine, but I think if I throw it down like this, you're gonna throw up and complain endlessly, so... Well, we could, I mean... The excitement's fine right now. We could have them go straight a little longer. Then throw in the overbank turn to the left. But the thing is, where do we want that? We want that to... Like, we can't pivot it, dude. We can't pivot the overbank turn. That's gonna... People will die on that. You see what I'm trying to do? I want the overbank turn to go, like... Right there. And then just drop you, like, here. And then we'll follow the block section through the end. Because we're making do with, like, some pretty limited space. So I'm just trying to find maybe, like, the right element to make this dream come true. Like, is this just going to be ridiculous? Because it actually leaves me in, like, the spot that I would like to be in. But we're throwing, like, so many elements at people that I kind of worry that they'll get super nauseous. But it seems like they're actually really excited to be a part of that. So maybe, like, you know, it turns out as usual. What do I know? No, you don't need to auto-tunnel anymore. This is fine. Just stay at 0. And if you have to go into the surface of the Earth, you have to go into the surface of the Earth. Okay, try that. And then we need to land. That's the wrong... Why is my brain incapable of making this part happen? Well, you know what? We could always just raise them up. No, you don't want to do that. You want to, like, straighten up there. Like, raise them up like this. Hope that that doesn't bleed off too much excitement. And we're going to drop them down, like, nicely on top of stealth. And what's the point of that? Well, and you know what? We're actually gonna... They're still enjoying it. They're still having a good time. The point of this is so that we can get, like, a reasonable block station set up in advance of where the roller coaster is actually going to stop. So it's like this. I don't know if we should raise them up this quickly. Like, put them in like that, and then straight, and then straight. And the idea is now we throw in the block section. Right there. And then we go back to this, and we just drop them down in autocomplete. And it should be not terribly unexciting. So we're watching the roller coaster come through. I don't think it's the best one we've ever built, but it is sprawling. Will it average over 50 miles an hour? I don't know. It reaches like 90 during parts of this. I think fear might be a little high. But we can always throw in some braking sections if necessary. Fair to say fear might be a little high, yeah. So what do you do to fix that? Well, the easy thing, throw in some trim brakes here, and then see how that changes things. Hey, it's a far cry from like the 80 fear roller coasters we were making earlier. This spends most of its time in the green now as a result of having a lot less speed. But it does peak still, and that lowers the excitement, unfortunately, as well. So, we're gonna have to... Tell you what. This should be like that. And then there's just like one trim brake section. Stop test, start test. I've learned that, you know, you can debug a coaster pretty nicely by making minor changes like this. The fear in the yellow doesn't bother me too much. Where does it get ridiculous? Like okay, there we go. Excitement's back in the green here. I think that this roller coaster is fixable. So we're looking at fear, and fear is really bad through the final section that I created, and especially like this final hairpin is just like, it's a goddamn nightmare. So what's the problem here? The block section is not functioning. And I think that that's because I only have one car on the track right now. So if we make it 2 cars with 10 trains each and then put it through testing, it might be a little better now. So we'll go testing. Here you go. Set it off and see. Because then they'll be going a lot slower through that section. And I think that that's going to lower the fear overall on the whole ride. But I may be totally off base there. No, I am totally off base there. Okay, so go back to speed 1. And we'll edit our track here. So this section is basically just a garbage fire. Actually, like, everything up to this section is pretty good. One thing we could try is, like, smooth all. And really, like, I haven't done this in a while. We should smooth all on the entire coaster. That might bring it up It might bring it up a couple points of excitement and bring it down a couple points in the things that we're not pleased with. So here you go, like 12 bucks well spent. Start this up and see if this leaves us with a shell of a good roller coaster. You can see it climbing there, and we'll ride it once it's like successfully good to go here. Comes through that section. Why are they so afraid? It's that, like, that final turn amps it up ridiculously. Better, though. Actually, like, almost to the point where I would consider running this roller coaster. We just need the fear that is red right now to not be red, basically. So, I'll tell you what. We should stop... We shouldn't raise them up as high as I'm raising them up here. So that's one element of it, I think. So we'll come back here and I'm just raising them up enough so that they can successfully make it to the end of the coaster, like the station, on momentum alone. We might want to slow them down before they enter the block section as well. All right, so the coaster's coming up. We're gonna have to retest it because it's not block sectioned right now, but can at least see if this augments it a little bit. Like, we can throw in a trim brake through that section and just slow the whole thing down. That did get a little bit better, still not great. The other thing that I definitely need to do here is this turn at the end. Like, God bless autocomplete for doing things that I'm incapable or too lazy to do. But at the same time, sometimes it throws in these, like, ball-breaking, ridiculous curves that are just, like, non-acceptable. So... throw in, like, a trim brake here. And then, like, bend them a little bit and then autocomplete. And that's a much gentler finish here. See how they feel about the fear. It's still pretty bad through that section, admittedly. But, you know, I accept my own imperfections. No, that's still bad at the end. But I really don't understand why. Like, are you too close to the ground? It is block sectioned, actually, so. It really feels like if we go to the heat maps. Really bad. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. So, again, minor changes. Trim brakes, and then see how they feel about that. Our excitement is actually fine. Even if excitement dips into the yellow, like, life goes on. But I just want to make sure this thing actually runs. And, you know, there's no point in running a bad roller coaster. It just takes up space. Oh, now it doesn't even make it through that section. So that's obviously, like, that's too much on the trim brakes. So come back here. Make that not trim. Stop test, start test, and then go back up to speed 3, on pause, let it go. It might seem like a laborious process, and in some ways it is, but, you know, this is what you gotta do in order to create a coaster that doesn't, like, you know, light your attendees on fire or make them, you know, constantly throw up when they leave. Okay, yeah. Like, you've done a good thing here. You can't make it to the end? Now that is offensive to me. I throw in a single trim brake section. And all of a sudden you don't have the speed necessary to make it through to the completion here. Well, you know what? There is a way around that. Just make these drive tires. So, like, delete that. And then drive tires autocomplete. But this is not drive... Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Cancel. I'll just do it myself. You want something done right, you gotta do it yourself. Try not to throw people for too much of a loop here. At the end. Like, these can be some... tight turns. Snap it in. Track limits exceeded! Okay, well, that's easy enough. Control-Z, Control-Z. Allons-y, but Control-Z... and just throw in a gentler turn at the end. That will not work. Also, is it slightly uphill? It is slightly uphill. Okay. I've recognized you're probably looking at this and going, Northernlion, you are a dang moron. Look. Part of life is accepting your own idiocy. I don't know what I may have accidentally deleted some of the breaks that were earlier on the track here, but I think this is sensible. Take this. And basically, instead of dropping them quickly, or sorry, instead of dropping them slowly, I'm going to drop them down pretty quickly here, but I can't do it at a 45-degree angle. Oh, did I? Oh, I didn't delete the block section. Drop them at a 22-degree angle. That may be enough right there. I would prefer you didn't throw in, like, the ridiculous, ridiculous hairpin at the end, but there you go. That's more along the lines of what I'm talking about here. And I think you'll have enough speed to get through that. So let's start test. Stop test, start test. And if it takes us another 10 minutes, it takes us another 10 minutes. You know, we need a flagship roller coaster for this extra section of our park. Oh, it doesn't quite make it. By the way, we're still making money month over month. I just want to, like, we made 11 grand that month, and I've been sitting here with my thumb up my ass building this ride for, like, almost all that. So, or actually, more than all of that. You have been deleted. Replaced with drive tires, which will slowly bring you around to the conclusion of the roller coaster. There you go. That'll do. That'll do. Start test. This is what I get for trying to... It does get over 90 miles an hour, though. That's the challenge we want to complete, at the very least. I don't think this is going to be one of the most popular rides in the park. In fact, this is kind of like a misstep here. You're going to make it. They made it. Oh, it's a 2 on excitement, so that's pretty exquisite. And what's the problem there? It takes them 20 minutes to get through this final block section. So, speed 1, stop test. It's really this section that's screwing me. What are we looking for from this section? Basically, like, we don't have a ton of space. So I'm throwing them for, like, a little bit of a hairpin here at the end, but it's for a good cause, I swear. Like, as long as they're not going too fast so that fear isn't, like, ridiculous. But look at, like, they're still bleeding off, like, a fair degree of excitement there. And then that hairpin turn at the end kind of throws them. But that wasn't as bad, admittedly. So let's see how they feel. It bleeds off so much excitement, though, because it takes them so long to get through that corner. 3, 5... It's entirely this last section. Who would have thought that this would be what would throw me for, like, the largest loop? So what do? Tell you what. I mean, we're worried about fear as well, but I think that's going to get handled. So, auto tunnel. And we're just going to drop them a little. And then we're going to bring them back. Like that. And then we're going to auto-complete. And see how that works. What's the idea? They're going underground, so they're going to be a little less, like, you know, pissed off. I'm just going to push this terrain out of the way because it looks disgusting. And, hopefully it doesn't take them as long to get to the end. They don't even make it to the end now. Oh, my brain. Added track. I know we're losing money by not Control-Z-ing this, but this is fine. Well, you know what? No block section, dude. No block section. Control-Z, Control-Z, I deleted the station. I mean, I understand the value of block sections. Get rid of this auto tunnel, too, because it's hideous. Believe you me, I understand the value of block sections. Or at least I've started to understand the value of block sections. But perhaps we have to accept the block section is not for us in this present situation. And instead we'll run one train and hope that the stats are decent enough to carry us. Fear gets really bad at the end, but otherwise this is okay. So what's the ticket? Trim brakes, dude. And then select the whole roller coaster. Smooth all. No, smooth all. Alright, I'll just be straight with you. We're probably going to open this coaster and then delete it in like 6 months in-game. Because it's just not very good. I think that's clear. And it's... Well, you just going to freeze on me? I believe in the power of this roller coaster. I believe in the power of Planet Coaster. Please don't do me dirty. It zoomed out. It zoomed out. It can make it happen. Well, I'm going to leave you on this cliffhanger while I try to troubleshoot Planet Coaster. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. This coaster isn't as bad as it looks. Like, it's not as bad as some of the awful ones that we've tried to make. So, I think that it's fixable. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.